find somewhere comfortable. You don't need to sit up straight or hold yourself in any particular way. If you're already lying down, that's exactly right. Let your weight settle into whatever is beneath you. The mattress, the pillow, the quiet dark of wherever you are tonight. You don't need to follow this closely. You don't need to remember any of it. If your mind drifts, that's not a problem. That's actually part of what we're here to talk about. The mind, and where it goes, and what it does when we finally stop asking so much of it. Tonight, we're going to spend some time with consciousness, not in a complicated way, not in the way of a textbook or a lecture, more the way you might sit with a friend who knows a little about the subject and wants to share it gently in the dark while you rest. If today was hard, and for a lot of people today was hard, then this is for you especially. If you're carrying something into this night, some weight you haven't quite been able to set down, then let it rest here beside you for now. You don't have to resolve anything tonight. You don't have to figure anything out. The only thing being asked of you is to let the words arrive softly, and to let them go again just as softly. We're in no hurry. The night is long and patient, and it belongs entirely to you. There is something quietly remarkable about the fact that you are aware of being here right now. Not just that you exist, but that you know you exist. That somewhere inside this body that is tired and warm and finally still, there is something noticing, something that registers the weight of the blanket and the sound of the room and the particular quality of this moment. Something that, right now, is reading these words and making meaning from them. That something is consciousness, and it is, in many ways, the most intimate thing you will ever encounter. More familiar than your own face, more constant than any relationship. It has been with you every moment you have ever been alive. And yet, if someone asked you to explain it, you would probably find yourself reaching for words that don't quite fit. Philosophers have wrestled with it for centuries. Scientists are still gently circling it, trying to understand what it actually is. And the more carefully anyone looks, the more it seems to open outward, like a room that keeps revealing new doors. We're not here to solve it tonight. Solving things is not what this hour is for. But there is something calming, something almost tender, in simply sitting with the question, in letting yourself be curious about the very thing that makes curiosity possible. So let's begin there. Quietly, without pressure. What is consciousness really? And what does it do to you, to your body, to your mind, when you finally allow it to soften and slow? The word itself comes from the Latin, conscientia, to know together. Con meaning with, and sire meaning to know. There is something beautiful in that origin. The idea that consciousness is not a solitary thing, not a sealed chamber, but a kind of knowing that happens in relationship. With the world, with the body, with the present moment. And yet for most of us, most of the time, consciousness doesn't feel like a profound philosophical phenomenon. It feels like the noise inside your head. The running commentary. The list of things you didn't finish. The conversation you replayed 3 times on the drive home. The low hum of worry that sometimes follows you all the way into bed. If that's what your consciousness has felt like today, that's not a flaw. That's what an overworked, overstimulated mind does. It keeps going. It keeps processing. Even when you've asked it, kindly and then less kindly, to please just stop. One of the most useful things researchers have discovered about the conscious mind is that it has a kind of default setting, a mode, It slips into whenever you're not focused on a specific task. Scientists call it the default mode network. It's a cluster of brain regions that become active when the mind is left to its own devices, and what it tends to do in that state is think about you, your past, your future, your relationships, your worries, your sense of self. It is the part of the brain that generates the inner monologue, the part that replays the awkward moment from 3 weeks ago at 2 in the morning. It is not a malfunction. The default mode network does genuinely useful things. It helps you plan. It helps you understand other people. It helps you construct a continuous sense of who you are across time. But it never really switches off on its own. And when you're exhausted, when you're anxious, when you're lying in bed wishing your mind would just be quiet, it can feel less like a useful tool and more like a radio you can't find the switch for. Here is the thing, though, and it is worth holding gently. That restless, looping quality of consciousness is not all that consciousness is. It is one mode, one frequency. The mind has others, slower, deeper, softer ones, and they are accessible. Not through force, not through effort, but through something closer to permission. Consciousness, it turns out, is not a fixed thing. It is more like water. It takes the shape of whatever contains it. When the container is stress and urgency and the accumulated weight of a long day, it moves fast and in many directions at once. But when the container changes, when the body grows still and the room grows dark and the demands of the day fall away, consciousness can slow, it can deepen. It can become something that feels less like noise and more like space. That shift is not magic. It has a biology. And understanding it, even loosely, even half asleep, is one of the kindest things you can do for yourself tonight. Your brain is never silent. Even now, as you rest, as the room settles around you and the day grows distant, your brain is producing electrical activity. Tiny waves of coordinated firing that move through its tissue like weather across a landscape. Researchers have been measuring these waves since the 1950s, when a pair of scientists named Das and Gastow first attached electrodes to the scalps of meditating yogis and watched, with some astonishment, as the patterns on their instruments changed. What they found was that the brain speaks in frequencies. Different states of mind produce different rhythms, and those rhythms have names. When you're busy, alert, slightly stressed, the kind of alert that makes your jaw tighten without you noticing, your brain is mostly producing what are called beta waves. Fast. Between roughly 13 and 30 cycles per second. They are the waves of engagement, of problem solving, of vigilance. Useful when you need them, exhausting when they won't stop. But as the mind begins to slow, as you move from doing into simply being, something shifts. The frequency drops. Alpha waves begin to emerge, cycling at somewhere between 8 and 13 times per second. They are the waves of calm alertness, the waves of a mind that is present but not straining. Researchers associate them with relaxation, with gentle focus, with the particular quality of attention you might have when you're watching the sky or listening to rain. They are, in a sense, the sound of the mind unclenching. And then, deeper still, come the theta waves. 4 to 8 cycles per second, slow and wide. These are the waves of the threshold, the soft border between waking and sleep, the place where thoughts begin to lose their edges and images drift in from somewhere you didn't quite intend. You may have noticed this yourself in the minutes before sleep takes you. A looseness, a gentle strangeness, a sense of being somewhere between the room and somewhere else entirely. That is theta. That is the brain beginning to let go of the ordinary business of being awake. What is remarkable, and this is something researchers have found consistently across many decades of study, is that experienced meditators can learn to enter theta states deliberately, not by falling asleep, not by losing awareness, but by deepening their stillness while remaining in some quiet way present. The brain becomes simultaneously more relaxed and more inwardly alive. There is a phrase sometimes used to describe this state: mind awake, body asleep. It sounds paradoxical, but there it is, showing up again and again in the data. The body drops into something very close to rest. The muscles soften, the heart slows, and yet the mind doesn't vanish. It simply moves into a different quality of awareness. Clearer in some ways than ordinary waking thought. Quieter, more spacious. You don't need to be an experienced meditator to touch the edges of this. You may have been there already, tonight, in the moments just before you began listening. The slow heaviness in your limbs, the way the room felt slightly further away. That was your brain beginning its own gentle descent through the frequencies. You were already on your way. It is worth pausing here, because the story of consciousness is not only a story about the mind, it is a story about the body too. They are not separate things, however much we sometimes speak of them as if they were. When the mind is running fast, when the default mode network is looping and the beta waves are high and the day's unfinished business is still circling, the body responds. It has no choice. The nervous system has two broad modes, and they are in constant conversation with the brain. The first is the sympathetic mode, sometimes called fight or flight. It is the body on alert, heart rate elevated, breath shallow, muscles held slightly ready, cortisol, the stress hormone, moving through the bloodstream like a slow tide. It is extraordinarily useful when there is actual danger, but it was designed for short bursts, not for hours, not for weeks, not for the particular modern experience of being mildly but chronically stressed about things you cannot run from or fight. The second mode is the parasympathetic, rest and digest, the body in recovery, heart rate easing, digestion resuming, the muscles releasing the tension they've been holding since morning, cortisol falling back. And something else rising in its place, a neurochemical warmth, a settling, a sense of being, if not exactly safe, then at least no longer under immediate threat. The transition between these two states is not automatic when you're anxious or stressed. The nervous system, once activated, can be reluctant to step back down. This is why you can be exhausted but not able to sleep. Why the body is tired but the mind won't follow. The sympathetic system is still running, still scanning, still asking its ancient question. Is it safe yet? Can we stop? What meditation and deep stillness more broadly does is answer that question. Not through words, but through the body itself. When you slow the breath, when you allow the muscles to soften, when you stop moving and stop striving and stop performing, the nervous system receives a signal it has been waiting for. The parasympathetic mode begins to take over, gently, gradually, like a tide coming in rather than a switch being flipped. Researchers have documented this shift in careful detail. Even a few days of meditation practice has been shown to lower resting heart rate and increase something called heart rate variability, a measure of the nervous system's flexibility and resilience. Cortisol levels fall. Blood pressure eases. The body begins to move in the direction of repair, and the brain responds in kind. Serotonin, which is involved in mood and emotional stability, tends to rise. GABA, a neurotransmitter that quiets neural excitability, that essentially tells the brain it can stop firing quite so urgently, increases too. The amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, the part that generates anxiety and fear responses, begins to soften its activity. In people who meditate regularly over months and years, it has actually been observed to shrink slightly in size, not a loss, but the calibration. A nervous system learning that it doesn't need to be quite so ready for disaster quite so much of the time. None of this requires years of practice to begin. The parasympathetic shift can start tonight. It may already have started. The very act of lying still in a dark room, of allowing someone else's voice to carry the weight of the next hour, is already a form of permission. The body knows what to do with permission if you can manage to give it. Human beings have known about the power of stillness for a very long time. The ancient texts of India, the Vedas, some of which are thought to be over 5,000 years old, describe practices of inward turning, of drawing the senses back from the outer world and moving the attention somewhere quieter and deeper within. There is a word in Sanskrit, pratyahara, which translates roughly as withdrawal of the senses. The idea is not to numb the senses or to suppress them, but to gently release their grip on the outer world, to stop being pulled outward by every sound, every sensation, every passing thought, and to rest instead in the awareness that underlies all of it. Buddhist contemplative traditions speak of something called access concentration, a threshold state, a doorway that opens when the mind becomes sufficiently still, beyond which lie deeper and deeper absorptions. Not unconsciousness, but a different quality of consciousness. Broader, less entangled, more like the sky than the weather moving through it. These traditions were not guessing. They were describing something real, something that can now be measured with electrodes and brain scans and neurochemical assays. The language is different. The instruments are different. But what they are pointing at is the same territory. In the 1960s, a remarkable man named Swami Rama came to the Menninger Clinic in Kansas and allowed researchers to study him while he demonstrated things that had, until that point, been considered physiologically impossible. He altered his heart rate at will, accelerating it dramatically for short periods, then slowing it again. He changed the temperature of different parts of his hand simultaneously, warming one side and cooling the other by several degrees. He produced different brainwave patterns on request. And perhaps most remarkably of all, he remained consciously aware during states of brain activity that would normally correspond to deep sleep. The researchers were careful and methodical. They repeated the tests. They checked for confounds. And what they found was consistent. Here was a human being who had, through decades of practice, developed a degree of voluntary control over his own nervous system that the scientific understanding of the time had considered simply not possible. He was not unique in kind, only in degree. What he had cultivated was an extreme version of something latent in every human nervous system. The capacity for the mind to develop a relationship with its own deeper states, to learn the territory of stillness, not just stumble into it. You are somewhere on that same continuum tonight. Not at the extreme end, not producing different temperatures across your palm or controlling your heart rate at will. But here, in this bed, in this quiet, you are doing something that belongs to the same ancient lineage. You are allowing the outer world to grow distant. You are permitting the inner world to slow. You are, in your own gentle and unremarkable and entirely sufficient way, doing what human beings have always done when they needed to find their way back to something deeper than the noise. There is a moment in certain breathing practices, and you may find it yourself tonight, quite naturally, without trying, called the still point. It is the natural pause that occurs between an exhale and the next inhale, a moment of suspension, neither breathing out nor breathing in, just resting briefly in the space between. Some traditions consider it a doorway, a small window into the quality of awareness that exists beneath the constant movement of thought and sensation. You don't need to find it deliberately, but if you happen to notice it, that brief, unhurried pause at the end of a slow breath out, know that generations of people before you have paused there too and found it quiet and found it enough. If you are tired tonight, deeply tired, the kind of tired that has settled into your bones and the back of your eyes, then something in what we've been talking about may feel both true and slightly out of reach, because there is a particular cruelty to the kind of exhaustion that won't let you sleep. The body is done. The body has been done for hours. But the mind keeps running its familiar loops, keeps returning to the same thoughts, keeps producing the same low-level electrical hum of unresolved things. You know this feeling, perhaps. The ceiling at 2 in the morning. The thoughts that seem smaller and more manageable in daylight, but expand in the dark until they fill the whole room. This is not a personal failing. It is what happens when the nervous system has been running in sympathetic mode for too long and the transition to rest has been interrupted. The default mode network, left without any task to perform, turns inward. And when the inner landscape is populated with worry or grief or unfinished business, that's what it finds. And returns to, and finds again. What the mind needs in these moments is not more effort, not discipline, not willpower, not the grim determination to think about something pleasant. What it needs is something to rest against, an anchor that is gentle enough not to feel like a demand, but present enough to give the looping thoughts somewhere else to go. This is, in part, what a guided meditation offers, not a solution, not a cure, but a soft and patient presence that the mind can orient toward the way a tired person might lean against a wall. Not because the wall fixes anything, but because it takes some of the weight. Research from Harvard and other institutions has shown that even 15 minutes of breath-focused meditation can meaningfully reduce default mode network activity. The inner monologue quiets. Not completely, not all at once, but measurably. The brain shifts its frequency. Alpha waves increase. The parasympathetic system begins to take over, and the body, which has been waiting for exactly this signal, begins to do what it already knows how to do. You don't have to make it happen, you just have to stop preventing it. That is easier said than done, of course, on nights when the thoughts are loud and the body is tense and sleep feels like something that happens to other people. But here is what is true. You have already come some distance tonight. The fact that you are here, in the dark, listening, allowing these words to move through you, that is already a form of surrender. A small one. A beginning. The brain you brought to this evening, tired, perhaps anxious, perhaps carrying something heavy, is already at this very moment beginning to shift. The frequencies are already moving. The nervous system is already receiving the message that the day is over, that nothing is required, that the next hour belongs entirely to rest. All that remains is to go a little deeper. And that is exactly what the next part of this evening is for. In a few moments, we'll move into a guided meditation. Slow and unhurried, designed for a mind that is tired and a body that has been waiting all day for permission to let go. You won't need to do anything complicated. You won't need to empty your mind or achieve any particular state. You'll simply be invited to rest your attention gently on a few quiet things and to follow wherever the stillness leads. The understanding you've gathered tonight about the waves moving through your brain, about the nervous system finding its way back toward calm, about the ancient and patient practice of simply being still. All of that is already working in you. You don't need to hold on to it. It will do what it does quietly, in the background, the way the body heals while you sleep. For now, settle a little deeper into wherever you are. Let the weight of the day rest where it is, somewhere behind you, already growing distant. The meditation begins now. You have been thinking about something vast tonight. Something that has no edges, no clean beginning, no tidy end. And that is perfectly all right. You do not need to solve it. You do not need to understand it fully. You can simply let it rest here, beside you, like a book you close gently at the end of an evening. The questions can wait. They will still be there, patient and curious, when the morning comes. But right now, this moment belongs only to you, to your body, which has carried you all day, to your breath, which has never once needed your permission to keep going, to the quiet, which is already here, already waiting, already soft around you. So let yourself arrive, fully, gently, without any effort at all. If you are lying down, let the surface beneath you receive your weight. You do not have to hold yourself up anymore. The bed, the pillow, the floor beneath it all, they are steady. They have you. Let your arms settle wherever they feel most natural. Let your legs find their easiest position. There is no perfect way to lie. There is only the way that is comfortable for you right now, in this moment. If something needs a small adjustment, make it slowly. A gentle shift of the hips, a turn of the head, and then, when you find it, that place of ease, let yourself go still. Close your eyes if they are not already closed. And for just a moment, let yourself feel the simple fact of being here. Not thinking about here. Not analyzing here. Just this room. Just this quiet. Just you. Earlier, you were thinking about consciousness, about what it means to be aware, about the mystery of experience itself. And perhaps that thinking stirred something in you, a kind of wonder or a kind of gentle weight. Both are welcome here. Here, both can come to rest now, because here is a beautiful thing about consciousness. It does not need you to tend to it tonight. It will go right on, softly, beneath the surface, even while you sleep. It does not require your vigilance. It does not need your watch. Awareness itself is already doing what it does, quietly, without effort. And so you can release the job of thinking about it. You can let the mystery simply be mysterious. Held gently in the dark, like everything else you do not need to carry tonight. Let your thoughts begin to slow now. Not forced. Not pushed away. Just allowed to move a little more gently, like water settling after a stone has been dropped in. The ripples are still there. They are moving. But they're getting smaller, quieter, spreading out toward the edges where you can barely see them anymore. That is all right. You do not need to watch them. You do not need to follow everyone. And now, very softly, let your attention find your breath. Not your thinking about breath. Not your ideas about breath. Just the breath itself. The real, physical, living thing that is happening right now. Notice the air as it moves in. Cool and quiet through your nose, or soft through your lips. However it comes, it comes. Notice the slight rise of your chest or your belly. That gentle, almost imperceptible lift. And then the release. The slow, unhurried letting go. The air moving out, warmer now, carrying with it the small tensions of the moment. You do not have to breathe in any special way. You do not have to breathe deeply or slowly or perfectly. Your body already knows exactly what it needs. It has known since your very first breath, long before you ever had a single thought about breathing. Just let it do what it knows. And rest your attention there lightly, like a hand resting on still water. Not pressing. Not gripping, just touching, gently. In, and feel that small, easy expansion. Heave, out, and feel everything soften just a little more. With each breath out, there is a small release, a small letting go. Not of anything in particular. Just of the holding, be efforting. With each breath, you can let go a little more of the sense that you need to do anything right now. You are not going anywhere. There is nowhere to be. There is only this breath, and this one after, and this one after that. And as you breathe, you might begin to notice that the breath is doing something on its own. Without any help from you, it is beginning to slow. It is beginning to deepen very naturally, the way breath always does when the body starts to feel safe. When the body starts to remember that it is allowed to rest. You are allowed to rest. Fully. Completely. Without reservation. Now, very gently, let your awareness move to the very top of your head. Your scalp. You may not have thought about your scalp in a long time. Though we rarely do. But there is often a kind of subtle holding there. A tightness we carry without knowing. Just notice it now. And with your next breath out, let that holding soften. Let the skin of your scalp release. Let it feel a little looser, a little more at ease, as if someone has lifted something very light from the top of your head. And the relief of it, quiet and small, spreads gently downward. Let that softening move to your forehead now. Your forehead, where so many thoughts arrive and press. Where concentration lives and worry and the small furrows of a long day. Let it smooth now. Not all at once. Just gently, like a piece of cloth being slowly laid flat. The lines easing, the skin softening, your forehead growing quiet. And your temples, those tender places at the sides of your head. Let them release. Let the muscles there unwind just a little. Just enough. And your eyes. Even behind closed lids, there can be a kind of effort. A kind of looking even in the dark. Let your eyes stop looking now Let them be still. Let the muscles around them go soft. Let your eyelids feel heavy and warm. Not heavy in a way that troubles you. Heavy in the way of deep comfort. Heavy in the way of being held. To your cheeks now. Let them soften. Let the jaw begin to loosen. The jaw carries so much. All the words we held back. All the things we chewed over. All the tension of a day spent navigating the world. Let your jaw drop just slightly. Not wide open. Just a gentle, easy release. Your teeth parting a little. Your mouth finding its most natural, restful position. And with that release, something else lets go too. Something you may not have even known you were holding. Let it go now. It has served its purpose. You do not need it anymore tonight. And your tongue, even the tongue holds tension sometimes. Let it rest softly on the floor of your mouth. Loose and easy. Not pressed. Not working. Just resting. Your ears. The sounds of the world can reach you, and that is fine. You do not need to block them out. You do not need to listen to them either. Just let them be there, at the edges, like distant weather. Not concerning you. Not pulling you. Just part of the gentle background of being alive. And now your neck. Long and soft. The neck works so hard, holding the head with all its thinking, all its noticing, all its wondering about the nature of things. Let it rest now. Let the muscles along the back of your neck lengthen. Let the sides of your neck soften. Let your head feel supported, cradled, held by whatever is beneath it. You do not have to carry your own head tonight. You can let it be held. Let that softness move into your shoulders now. And here, perhaps, you will feel the most. The shoulders are where so much accumulates. The weight of responsibility. The invisible things we carry forward through the day. Let them drop. Just a little. Just a breath's worth. Let your shoulders sink toward the surface beneath you. Let them fall away from your ears. Let there be space there, open and easy, where before there was tightness. Breathe out and let them go a little more. There is nothing you need to carry right now. There is nothing you need to hold up. You can put it all down. Every last bit of it. Just for tonight. Just for now. And let that release travel down your upper arms. The long muscles there softening. The heaviness of your arms becoming a kind of comfort. Not a burden. A comfort. The weight of a body at rest. Let it be welcome. Down through your elbows. Your forearms. All the doing that your arms have done today. The reaching, the carrying, the typing, the driving, the small gestures of a life being lived. Let all of that release now. Let your arms have no purpose for a while. One. They are just resting. Just here. And your hands. Your remarkable, capable, endlessly working hands. Let them open a little. Or let them rest in whatever position they have found. Let the fingers soften. Let the palms feel heavy and warm. Let there be a sense of gentle warmth spreading through your hands, as if they are being held in something soft and kind. You have given so much with these hands today. You can let them be still now. I have earned this rest. And now your chest, your heart, beating there steady and faithful. It has not stopped once today. Not once in your whole life. It does not need your attention to keep going. It does not need your help. It just beats quietly. Steadily, let your chest soften around that quiet beating. Let the muscles of your chest release. Let there be more room there, more ease, as if the chest is expanding just slightly with each breath, and then settling, and with each settling it finds a little more openness, a little more peace. And your belly. The belly is so often held tight, so often braced against the world. Let it release now. Let it be soft. Let it rise and fall with your breathing loose and easy. Let it be round and warm and unclenched. There is nothing to brace against here. You are safe. You are warm. You are held. You are held. Feel the weight of your back against the surface beneath you. The whole broad expanse of your back, from the tops of your shoulders to the base of your spine. Let yourself sink into that contact. Let the surface hold you. Feel the places where your back touches what is beneath it, and let those places soften. Let them release their last small effort. You are not floating. You are not falling. You are resting on something solid and real and safe. And it is enough. Oh, it is more than enough. Let your hips grow heavy now. The hips, the pelvis, the deep center of the body. Let all of that weight drop. Quad, let it be supported. Let there be a sense of the whole lower half of you becoming heavier, warmer, more deeply at ease. As if you are settling into something soft and deep. As if the surface beneath you is gently receiving you, welcoming you, letting you sink just a little deeper into rest. And your thighs. The long, strong muscles there. They have worked today. Walking, standing, moving through the world. Let them be still now. Let them grow heavy and warm. Let the tension in them dissolve slowly, like something melting in gentle heat. There is no hurry. There is nowhere to walk to right now. You can simply be here, down through your knees, your calves. The calves hold on too sometimes. Ready to move, ready to go. Let them know they are not needed right now. Let them soften and release. Let them feel the quiet permission of rest. Your ankles, your feet, the very soles of your feet which have carried you through everything today. Let them rest. Let them feel the warmth spreading through them. Let your toes uncurl. Let the spaces between your toes open gently. Let your feet feel at last completely at ease. From the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes, your whole body is softening now. Your whole body is letting go. There is no part of you that needs to hold on. There is no part of you that needs to stay ready. You can be completely, entirely at rest. Your body is heavy now. Heavy in the most beautiful way. Heavy the way a stone rests at the bottom of a clear, still lake. Not troubled. Not sinking further. Just settled. Just there. Held by the depth around it. Quiet in the stillness of the water. And your mind. Your remarkable, endlessly curious, wondering mind. The mind that spent this evening thinking about consciousness. About the mystery of being aware. About the strange and beautiful fact that there is something it is like to be you. Let that mind begin to quiet now. Not because the questions were not worth asking. Or were. They are. But because there is a time for questions, and there is a time for this. For the soft, wordless, effortless rest that waits beneath all thinking. And that time is now. Imagine, if you like, that your thoughts are like lights in a city seen from very far above. Bright and busy, all of them, when you are close. But from a distance, they begin to blur together. To become something more like a gentle glow than a collection of separate, urgent things. You are moving away from them now, or not abandoning them, just rising gently above them, just gaining a little distance. And from up here, they are beautiful. They are warm. They are warm, but they are small. And they do not require anything of you. Or perhaps your thoughts are like leaves on the surface of a slow, dark river. Each one arrives. One is real. Each one carries something. But the river moves, gently, unhurried, and the leaves are carried along. You do not need to follow them. You do not need to pick them up and examine them. You can simply stand at the edge of the river and watch them pass. Watch them drift around the soft bend in the distance. Watch them disappear into the quiet dark. And let the river be still, or as still as rivers ever are. Moving, but slowly, without urgency. There is a place I would like to take you now. A place that exists only for you in this moment, in this space between waking and sleep. It is an evening place. A soft, warm, dimly lit place. Let it take whatever shape feels most natural to you. Perhaps it is a room. Perhaps it is a garden. Perhaps it is a place you have known and loved, or perhaps it is a place you have never been but somehow recognize. Whatever it is, let it be safe. Let it be quiet. Let it be yours. If it is a room, let the walls be close and warm. Let the light be low and golden. Let there be something soft beneath you. A bed, a couch, a pile of cushions, something that holds you perfectly. Let the temperature be exactly right. Not too warm, not too cool. Just the sweet, still air of a perfect resting place. If it is outside, let it be the gentlest kind of night. Stars, perhaps, or a soft, overcast sky that holds a faint, diffuse light. You got air easy to breathe. The sounds around you, only the sounds of peace, distant water, or the very faint movement of leaves, or simply a deep, encompassing quiet. The ground beneath you, or whatever you rest upon, perfectly supportive. Perfectly right. Wherever you are, let yourself feel the safety of it. The deep cellular safety of a body that knows it is protected. That knows nothing is required of it right now. That knows it can let down every guard, yell, every watch, every readiness. You are safe here. You are so deeply, completely safe. And in this place, let yourself think for just a moment, softly, without effort, about what consciousness is. Not as a problem, not as a puzzle to be solved, but as something you are simply inside of right now. Something you are swimming in, the way a fish swims in water, so surrounded by it that it cannot be seen as a separate thing. You are aware right now. You are experiencing right now. This softness, this warmth, this quiet. You are feeling all of it. And you did not have to do anything to make that happen. Awareness simply is. It is here, the way the air is here. Gutless. Constant. Already present. Already doing everything it needs to do. And now notice something gently. As you begin to drift towards sleep, awareness does not disappear. It changes. It softens. It loosens its focus on the sharp edges of things. It lets the world become a little blurred, a little warm, a little indistinct. And this is not a loss. This is a kind of grace. The grace of a mind that is finally allowed to rest. To release its grip on the waking world and let itself drift into the soft, wordless country of sleep. You are moving toward that country now. Slowly. Without any effort at all. Let your imagined place grow a little dimmer now. Not dark, just dimmer. The way a room feels when a candle is beginning to burn low. They were warm. Still safe, but softer at the edges. The details less important. The feeling more important than anything else. The feeling of being held. Of being exactly where you need to be. Of having nothing left to do. Your body is very heavy now. Your arms, your legs, your whole beautiful tired body. Heavy and warm and sinking softly into rest. Each breath you take is a little slower. A little more effortless. A little more like the breathing of someone who is already nearly asleep. Because you are. You are nearly there. The boundary between waking and sleeping is thin right now. Thin and permeable and soft. And there is nothing on the other side of it to fear. Only rest. Only the deep, renewing quiet of sleep. Only the place where the mind finally puts down its wondering and lets itself be still. If thoughts come, let them come. They are allowed. They are just thoughts. They do not need your full attention right now. You can let them move through like weather. Like the sound of rain on a window that you are listening to from very far inside a warm house. Pleasant. Not urgent. Not requiring anything. Just passing. Just moving through. And the questions about consciousness. The beautiful, unanswerable questions. They are not gone. They are just resting too. They are folded up gently and placed somewhere safe, the way you might fold a letter. You have been reading and tuck it into a pocket. Go there. Go yours. But not needed right now. Not tonight. Tonight, you are not the one who wonders. Tonight, you are simply the one who rests. The one who breathes. The one who lets the long, complicated, extraordinary fact of being a conscious creature in a mysterious world simply be. Without examination. Yeah. Without effort. Without needing to resolve into anything. You are here. That is enough. That is everything. Let your breath grow quieter still. In and out. Soft and slow. Like the tide. Very far away, moving in and out on a dark and peaceful shore. No one watching it. No one needing it to do anything. Just moving as it always has, as it always will. As you breathe, as you always have, as you always will. The warmth around you is complete now. You are held on all sides by something gentle, by the surface beneath you, by the air around you, by the quiet, by the dark, by something that has no name but that you have always known. Something that has been here every time you have fallen asleep in your whole life. It is here again now. Familiar, trustworthy, yours. Let your eyes grow still. Let your face be soft. Let your jaw be loose and easy. Let your hands rest, open or closed, whichever they have found. Your legs be heavy. Let your feet be warm. Let your whole body be exactly as it is. Perfect in its tiredness. Perfect in its stillness. Perfect in its readiness for sleep. You are drifting now. The way a boat drifts from a dock when the rope is finally untied. Not going anywhere in particular. Just moving with the current. Just carried. You know, the water is calm. The night is soft. The stars or the clouds or simply the dark above you, all of it is quiet. All of it is holding you. Your thoughts are very quiet now. Barely there. More like the memory of thoughts than thoughts themselves. Soft impressions. Gentle shapes without sharp edges. Drifting past and dissolving. You do not need to hold on to any of them. You do not need to follow any of them. They know the way. They will find their own rest. And you are finding yours right now, in this breath. Yeah. And this one, each one slower, each one softer, each one carrying you a little further from the waking world, a little closer to the deep, still, wordless place where sleep waits for you, patient and warm and already open, already yours. You have done so much today. You have thought so much. You have felt so much. You have wondered about vast and beautiful things. And now you can rest from all of it. Rest is not a retreat from the wondering. It is what makes the wondering possible. It is the ground beneath everything. The dark, rich, necessary quiet from which all your days grow. Sleep is not the end of consciousness. It is where consciousness goes to be renewed, to be made whole, to return to itself. And so you can go there now, cleanly, gratefully, with your whole heart. Let the last of your wakefulness soften. Let it dissolve at the edges, like ink in water, like mist in morning light. Let there be less and less of the part of you that watches, and more of the part of you that simply is, simply rests, simply sleeps, breathing, arm, kabi, killed, kill, drifting, guys, ba, yum, quiet, ida, resting now, all the way, sleep,